and on this week's edition of the BLAST Newscast.
Prom is coming up soon, and for all you people who don't have a date yet, we are about to present to you some crazy ideas of how you can prepare yourself for prom as a BLAST Newscast asks. What would you do to get a prom date? I'm Tony White, and we'll have this story coming up.
Sunny skies, reasonable for temperatures, and beautiful weather is in store for this week. I am Levi Bennington, and I'll have further details in this week's weather forecast.
Those stories and a whole lot more can be seen on this week's edition of the BLAST Newscast
for the week of April the 9th, 2013.
And now, coming to you live from our studios in Sharpsville, Indiana, Dustin Clifton and Jacob Pyle.
Thank you, Chris Henry. Hello, and welcome to the BLAST Newscast. I'm Jacob Pyle.
And I'm Dustin Clifton. Rachel Keller has the week off. If you've been watching on YouTube, especially during prom season, you see people making a fool of themselves on the internet just for two reasons. One, to impress a girl, and two, to ask her out to prom. There are some people who'd be willing to do things out of their comfort zone or risk something in order to ask a girl to prom.
Trust me, Dustin, I know what you mean. I've seen the viral videos on YouTube, and I've seen these kids perform these stunts, and it's all been terrific. Just think, those kids have smart brains, don't they?
I guess.
Here to answer the popular question that most people ask, what would you do to get a date for prom, is BLAST Newscast reporter Tony White.
Thanks, Jacob. What would you do to get a date for prom? Ask that question to these people that you are about to see. They will tell you all kinds of different and wacky ways to be able to accomplish that goal. And in fact, we went around Team Blast today and we asked that question, and here are some of the responses we got.
What would I do to get a date for prom? Good question. Let me think about it.
I really wouldn't have a single problem getting a date for prom.
Well, to answer your question, I'm not going to be forceful or anything. You know, if a girl wants to go to prom with me, I'm fine with that. I don't care. Okay, you know, I do want to go to prom because, of course, it's my senior year. But if, like, I have nobody to go with, I'm not going to go because the fact is I don't want to be there and stand there, not have anything to do, and it'll make me feel like, you know, I'm not allowed to be, I'm not even supposed to be there. Not allowed.
Still thinking.
What would I do to get a date for prom? I could write an original song, I guess, make it up on the top of my head. I love you, you love me. Why don't you go to prom with me? That's the best I can do.
And it's just, you know, it'd be great to spend time with people. And so if anybody wants to go, they have nobody to go with, I'm available. Alright? That's about it, I guess.
You know what? I just realized something. I'm too old for prom anyway. What am I thinking? Ugh.
Those are some ways people would often get a date for prom. With prom coming up, you still don't have a prom date. There's still some last-minute hope. One popular idea for asking someone out to prom would be by way of scavenger hunt or writing messages in the chalk. Just make sure you have proper permission before doing these things. Anyway, you can be as creative as you want in asking a girl to prom, and if you get rejected, don't take it too seriously. Just think to yourself, what a wonderful guy that girl is taking to prom. Proms are fun things to go to, and it's a memory that lasts a lifetime. Here's hoping that all your prom dates say yes. For BLAST Newscast, I'm Tony White.
Thanks, Tony, for the report. A reminder that this year's Tri-Central Prom will be taking place at the Celebrations Banquet and Conference Facility in Kokomo on April the 20th. Order your tickets and round up your dates before it's too late. And now with a look at our other headlines that are making news today is BLAST Newscast headline reporter J.R. Clifton.
Thank you, Jacob. Hello, everyone. Here's our headlines for this week. On May 21st, we will be honoring the Team BLAST students who will be graduating as part of the class of 2013. We hope you can be able to join us for that. On Wednesday, June 12th, Team BLAST is going to be on an all-day trip to Warren Dunes State Park in Michigan. It'll cost $15. Make sure you bring extra sunscreen and water, and make sure to dress accordingly. Weather will be permitting. Team BLAST is doing a candle fundraiser in order to raise money for Big Stuff Church Camp. If you are interested or want more information, talk to Kendra or Desi. And finally, an important reminder that if you still want to go to Big Stuff Church Camp in Panama City Beach, Florida, to get your $50 deposit put in to secure your spot. We have 30 people down that is going, and camp is nearly full. As of right now, a spot will be guaranteed after you put your $50 deposit down, and once your $50 deposit is put in, that money cannot be refunded. So if you're still wanting to go to Big Stuff Church Camp, put in your $50 deposit before it's too late. Those are our headlines for this week. I'll be back at the end of the newscast for a preview of what you will see on next week's edition, but for now, I'm J.R. Clifton.
Thank you, JR. And now, it's time for our weather with our rain or shine weatherman, Levi Bennington.
Hello, everybody. We've had good news for all of you. Temperatures are now at a reasonable range for spring. Most of the week will be beautiful temperatures and beautiful skies, especially when we get to the weekend. So my forecast for today calls for sunny skies with a high of 43 degrees and a low of 25 degrees. Tomorrow we'll again be expecting beautiful skies, sunny skies with a high of 47 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Levi Bennington, and that's today's weather.
The BLAST Newscast now has its own official website. It's at www.blastnewscast.weebly.com. Here you will find current episodes of the BLAST Newscast, catch up with past episodes of the newscast, get to know the people who make the BLAST Newscast possible, and even drop us a line with your questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas. As I said, it's all here at www.blastnewscast.weebly.com. That's www.blastnewscast.weebly.com. See you there.
Next week on the newscast, we are going to be having a special report from Worthing Arena over at Ball State University for Acquire the Fire 2013. But before we get into our report next week, we have somebody who has actually made his decision to become a Christian after he attended Acquire the Fire last year. Here's Dustin Clifton with BLAST Newscast reporter Bryan Bookout on what it was like for him to be able to be part of this experience.
Thank you, Jacob. Bryan Bookout has made an important decision at last year's Acquire the Fire to become a Christian. So here to give us a kind of preview about what Acquire the Fire is for us every year is BLAST Newscast's very own Bryan Bookout. So before we talk about Acquire the Fire, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Bryan. I'm going to be 14. I like God. He's great. And I love you all.
For the viewers out there who have never seen or have never heard of Acquire the Fire before, go ahead and tell them a little bit about it.
Acquire the Fire is pretty much worship and lessons. You learn so much from it. It's how I broke down. God really got to me. And let alone not just the lessons, but the music and worship. It's great, and it really speaks the best lesson of all.
So, now on to how you decided on becoming a Christian. What was it like to have became a Christian after attending the Acquire the Fire?
It really changes your life completely. It's something you don't get rid of. It's something you can't get rid of. You can't do much about it. It takes over your life, and you love it. It's a great feeling knowing that somebody loves you at all times, and just know that you love them too.
What is your favorite part of this experience?
I have to say the worship. It really speaks to me the most, and I really like it.
And finally, who would you recommend Acquire the Fire to?
Everyone, especially ones that are looking for a great relationship with God.
Bryan Bookout, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mr. No Name, I got a joke for you.
Lay it on me, Jacob.
Alrighty then. What's the first bet that most people make in their lives?
I don't know. What's the first bet that most people make in their lives?
The alphabet. Hey, the alphabet. I Columba alphabet. I Columba get an alphabet.
Hey, looking for something to do on a weekday afternoon? Come up and join us for Teen Blast. Our address is 210 South Main Street here in Sharpsville, Indiana, 46068. Anyone 6th grade or older is welcome. We're open after school on Mondays and Wednesdays through Friday from 3 to 6, and Tuesdays from 3 to 9, with Tuesday service from 6:30 to 8:30. Come join us, won't you?
And now with a look at what you will be seeing on next week's newscast is BLAST Newscast headline reporter J.R. Clifton.
Thanks, Jacob. On next week's edition of the BLAST Newscast, we are going to have a special split edition of the BLAST Newscast as Jacob brings you a special report live from Acquire the Fire in Muncie, Indiana. We're going to have special highlights from the special youth conference, plus have some fun. Join us as we present part 1 of a 2-part special report on Acquire the Fire 2013. That's coming up on next week's edition of the BLAST Newscast. I'm J.R. Clifton, and we'll see you then.
Thank you, JR. And now, for a brief program note, the BLAST Newscast these next 2 weeks will be split editions of the newscast.
I will be coming to you live from Acquire the Fire in Muncie, Indiana.
And Rachel will be there also, live, from our studios in Churchill. So we hope you can be able to join us for that. And with that, that will be it for this week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dustin Clifton.
And I'm Jacob Pyle. Until next week, good night, and God bless my friends.
This is Chris Henry speaking for the BLAST Newscast. This program has been